Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Yamato, aka the Yamato. So this one's going to be a little bit different. Instead of the usual kind of commentary that I throw out there, every once in a while I like to make a video called Storytime with Spartan. And something funny happened to me this morning. I went outside, as you do, I went to feed Goober, as you guys know him, Patch. Yes, he lives outside. He hates being indoors. Every time I try to bring him indoors, he freaks out. He doesn't like being inside. So, he's outside dog. Anyway, so I go outside to feed the goof. And as I step out there, first of all, we got to set the scene, right? Y'all know I'm a big fella. I'm 6'2". I am 260 pounds currently. I've actually lost quite a bit of weight since October. You guys know the deal. But I'm a big guy, all right? I'm walking outside in nothing but my boxers because I live in the middle of nowhere. It's a luxury that can be afforded to me, right? That's the beauty of living in the middle of nowhere. You get to have certain comforts that you wouldn't normally get to have if you lived in the middle of a city. So me, I walk out, there's no way anybody can see me unless they're on my property, which means they are breaking the law. But anyway, so I go outside, and as soon as I step outside, the goober has a knack for not letting me know anybody's there until I walk outside. And then he starts barking like a mad dog. And I'm like, okay, clearly something's going on. Maybe it's a deer, maybe it's something, you know. So as soon as he starts barking, I come off the porch, I look to my right, and there's somebody sitting in my driveway. It's a little silver four-door, right? So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then they take off as soon as they see me. Now I'm sketched out a little bit. All right, clearly they're up to no good. Why else would somebody be sitting in a driveway I mean, it's pretty obvious it's a driveway. It's marked, it's got no trespassing signs, there's a mailbox at the end of it, it's just been scraped and new gravel put on top of it. I get it. Like, I don't understand how you could not notice it's a driveway, but I give them the benefit of the doubt. Unless they do something like this, and then they sketch me out, and I'm like, okay, now I've got to go figure out what it is. So I finish feeding the goober and the cats, and I go out to the, well, I go get dressed first, and then I jump in my Subaru, and I take off out the driveway. Now, I went down to Drake's, which is a left turn from the end of my driveway initially, and I didn't see him. So then I turned around and come back. I was going to go up the other way, which is a right turn, which comes out to Congo. And, you know, so as soon as I come around the last corner before my driveway again, I see the same car pulling into my driveway. All right. Now my sketch meter's at like an 11. All right, so you took off when you saw me, and then when I took off, you come back? All the meters are stacking against you, okay? So I immediately pull right up to them pretty aggressively. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they stopped in my driveway next to my mailbox. And so I roll up to them, and I roll the windows down, and they back it up. Okay, I'm backing up now too. I don't know if they thought I didn't know what they were thinking they were gonna get it, but like maybe I was just, you know, showing up, random person. No, it's my driveway. So I back up and I roll down my windows and I say, "What are you guys doing? Can I help you?" And they go, "Huh? And then I was like, "Okay, well, why were you on my property? A moment ago, you guys were sitting in my driveway, and then I come out, and then you guys take off." "Oh, we didn't realize anybody lived down there, and we were just learning how to drive standard. We were trying to turn around." Okay. And to put it into perspective, once I got up next to him, there's an older lady, and by older lady, I mean she's probably in her 50s, if that, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then there are 3 teenagers in the car, a girl and 2 teenage boys. One of the teenage boys is driving. So, I'm willing to buy the excuse that they were teaching their son how to drive a standard, okay? That's fine and dandy. What I don't like is the fact that as soon as you see the homeowner come out, you take off. All sketchy. And then when the homeowner comes out to check, you are coming back into his driveway after he just left it. So I explained to them, there's a lot of people out there, especially in my area, that are into drugs and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and when they show up like this in people's property, they're usually scouting it to do some things that are less than preferable. And so that's why I came out. That's why I tracked them down, or tried to track them down, and then they made it easy on me by showing back up in my driveway. And that's why I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to initiate a statement. And sure enough, like, at this point, they're stammering over their words. I've scared the crap out of them. And I'm not intending to scare the crap out of them, but at the same time, you got to see it from my perspective. Like, there's a unknown car full of 4 people on my property that's acting really sketchy. So, I'm not trying to be a jerk, and I wasn't being a jerk. I wasn't being loud. I wasn't being aggressive or anything like that. I just straight up asked them the questions, you know, that I need to find out why you're on my property. Because the last thing I need is somebody, because we've had things stolen from us in the past, the last thing I need is for people to be hanging out and trying to find out ways they can steal stuff. So, needless to say, all's well that ends well. They'll probably go on Facebook and type up a story about how they almost died because a middle-aged fat guy in a old beat-up Subaru tried to chase him down because they went down the wrong driveway. And then I get to post a story on Facebook talking about how some snot-nosed teenage kids come poking down my door. I am turning into that old guy, ain't I? Like, I just thought about that just now. Like, is it Hive that always says that I'm going to be the old guy that says, get off my lawn? No, I'm that guy now. Like, I straight up am. Like, if you show up on my property, first of all, you got to understand, I live in the middle of nowhere. All right, there's some people that live close to me, but even they are separated by the forest. Okay, I'm literally we own 10 acres in the middle of nowhere. It's surrounded by forest, our property is. So to just happen to wander onto my property and then act all sketchy, I'm gonna check you out. And our neighbors help us with that, because we have to. If we see sketchy people hanging around, we let each other know. It's really helpful. It's called neighborhood watch, but it's not formal, okay? It's just neighbors being neighbors. You know, you see people hanging around, you know your neighbors, they're not your neighbors, so let them know. Anyway, so that's all said and done. Now we're getting to the interesting part of this video, and why I actually wanted to do the story time with you guys. First of all, my voice is not quite back. It's close, getting there. Still a little scratchy. Probably can hear it in the bottom of my throat, just a little bit scratchy. But this team has just been absolutely useless. And you can blame me too, because I didn't really push my side at all. I kind of just sat there. But when you realize that nobody's doing anything, sometimes you just got to preserve your health for as long as possible and then try to make something out of the game. Now, right now we've got 1 kill, 80,000 damage, and a Yami. This is not what you call a good game. So why am I showing it? Well, the ending of this one is actually hilarious. And I felt like it was a great one for you guys. Now, this guy's over-angled in the Yami. We're going to make him pay for it. We take the shot. Wait for it. Pow! Down he goes. 21,000 damage, and now suddenly we're over 100,000. That's more like it. Then we see a Z-23 coming up towards us. We've got the cruiser shooting at us from long range. And as soon as we get behind this island, we're not going to be able to get shot, so we hit our damage control. And there's another Yami right around the corner. Now, what have I told you guys multiple times about dictating the terms of an engagement? You do not want to be the guy initiating around the corner. You just don't. It ends badly. So I'm going to Notzer here. I'm going to put myself onto the island, slow and stop, and then I'm going to start to reverse a little bit. I want him to come to me. But if I remember correctly, he doesn't actually come to me. Maybe he does. I can't remember. But I think that he actually doesn't. And of course, the battleship behind me gets torped into oblivion. Just happened to be the wrong place, the wrong time. And you can see where my 2 cruisers are. They're doing things. I don't know. But I want him to come around, and he's thinking about it. He really is. He's thinking about it. And so we're both spotted due to the RGA, and that's when I'm like, okay, well, if I can get my front guns around the corner, I can protect my citadel with the island and still shoot this man. He's pushed up too far. And sure enough, that's exactly what I do. I take the shot, and down he goes, and I survive with 2,300 health. Another 30,000 hit points. 2 citadels, down he goes. Very, very close to death here. Not gonna lie. Not preferable, but that's when the enemy starts doing the things. Like, the enemy here makes all of the wrong moves. And I am begging for my team to come and help. And the Z-23 comes out just absolutely begging for it. He's trying to drop torps on me. He's shooting me, but he's not doing any damage because he's not shooting superstructure. We knock him out of the game. So now we're up to 4 kills. And he drops all of his torps, and I have the island to shield me. So I was in perfect position to dodge as well. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Sometimes these things just happen. People potato in the most funny way possible. Now, I don't know if these guys recognized that it was me and it freaked them out, but if these guys had just pushed together, they absolutely nuke me. But because they keep waiting, because they just keep watching, they're letting me get to the point. And if this freaking cruiser back here had just pushed to me and helped me with a will to rebuild at any point, I have extended range on my will to rebuild. All he has to do is get in that circle, and I am begging for support. And I don't know what he's doing. Like, he's shooting, but he's not getting any closer. And obviously, if you look at the guy, I need the support. Now, I get radared here, no big deal. And so I start pushing up because I know the Shima's here. I'm like, screw it. If I'm not going to get any help, I'm going to dictate the terms here and try to come around the corner. That's when I see the Siegfried. And Siegfried's coming out and just absolutely begging for it. So guess what? Wait for it. Shot out and pow! Down he goes, giving me my Kraken, giving me my high caliber, and to top it off, the Shima is retreating. He's retreating. You can't make this stuff up. We're over 160,000 damage now. We managed to get another kill. And again, if this freaking cruiser just could get a little closer, I've thrown it in reverse. I'm trying to slow down, trying to get it to where he can get into my, and then he turns out. He turns out and stays out of my will to rebuild range. I've got 169 hit points in a dream. The Shima comes around the corner and should be dead. He has less than 3/4 of his health, and we take all of it, but leave him with just enough to get those demon fish off. Unfortunate. And down we go. 178,000 damage done. 5 kill, Kraken unleashed. We have a Wichita left. We have another cruiser left. They have 2 cruisers left, but they've had 2 caps for the entire game. If this Wichita had just gotten close enough, maybe I survived that. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Spartan, if you'd have just loaded HE, you probably would have killed him there. And you're right. There's a good chance that I would have killed him with the HE. But there's also a good chance that I load the HE and I don't kill him. I just have a knack. You guys know this. I have a knack for leaving people with just enough to kill me. It's just the way it goes. Now, this Alaska, again, I don't understand people. This Alaska is afraid of an Otago and an Edinburgh. Let me just put that back in perspective. This Alaska and Wichita are afraid of an Otago and an Edinburgh. What? What kind of alternate reality are we living in? So we just went and did all the things that we just did, made this video worth it in the end. And these 2 guys are going to throw this away because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And again, if there's a chance that we survive with the torp production of the Yami, there's a chance that we would have survived against that Shima had we had Will to Rebuild activated. And then, of course, this Otago should have been dead by now. You see, you know, our Wichita's 9 kilometers from him, shooting HE at him instead of just loading the AP and getting rid of him. So that's taken a little longer than normal. And then, of course, they've waited too long. And the Edinburgh's sitting in a smoke screen over there, and they're not trying to get closer. Look at the Alaska. Alaska's straight up running. An Alaska. Running away from an Edinburgh and an Otago. You can't make this stuff up. Shoot the man. That's all you gotta do. And if this guy, again, had switched to AP at any point, this Otago would have died in like the first salvo. He's broadside to him. They're not known for having amazing armor. Now, I know the Wichita doesn't have the best AP in the world, but it's still better than most. And so, yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to win this. Edinburgh is out of his smoke screen, but he's backed around the corner, and the Wichita's not going to be able to catch him in time. But this just goes to show you that when you try to win harder, or when you try to get rid of a guy... Actually, wait. Oh, look, the Edinburgh is out. He is broadside on, and this Wichita, once again, firing HE at him. If this Wichita goes to AP, he can actually do significant amounts of damage to this Edinburgh. Now the Edinburgh is actually facing him, sorry. Not quite facing him, but facing him enough that you're getting damage with the AP, but maybe switch back to the HE. There you go. He is switching to the HE. And if the Alaska had been in a position where he could help, this guy'd be dead. Because the Alaska would have had to crossfire from where he was. But because he ran away as far as possible, come around all the way around the island, this Wichita's not going to be able to win this game for us. And it's real unfortunate with, 10 seconds left before this one ends. Alaska finally shoots him, does basically nothing to him. It's just a bad shot. Or bad RG, one or the other. But you could see that this was so close. Such a close game to being thrown by the team that had all the advantage. They literally didn't have to do anything to win. And yet they end up almost losing. We end up top of the leaderboard, almost 2,000 base. We had 1,800 base with a loss. So we did all right. But yeah, it was a pretty fun story and a pretty fun match. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.